Let's rock and roll. Look, I'm not sure if I'm the guru of goal setting, but here's what I've learned after 22 years of traveling the globe, is that people basically fit into 4 categories. 3% of people go and make things happen. 10% of people think or expect things to happen. 60% of people just watch things happen. And 27% of people don't know what happened. Give me a hands up if you know people who've got no idea. Yeah, don't point to them. I want to spend some time with you this afternoon and say, how do you get in that top 3%? What can you do to get in that top 3%? And if I can give it almost a summary, implement what everybody has said from the stage. I don't know if you need any more from me. You've had inspiration, you've had information, you've had ideas, you've had insights. And now it comes down to the time to actually implement. The inspiration you've had from your new leaders, the information you had from Mark and his wonderful presentation, and from, I don't know your business like you know your business. But when I sat in the audience and I listened to him, the one thing that stood out for me was attention to detail. You belong to a wonderful organisation with fabulous products and the attention to detail to help you on that journey. So for this next 65 minutes, I want to spend some time with you and talk to you about how do you take all of this information and move towards what you want and to move away from what you don't want. And so as we go through, the hardest thing you're going to have to do this afternoon is think, write, and perhaps even talk to the person you're sitting alongside. Is that okay? Sorry, is that a yes or a yes? I'm glad you agreed. Here's what I've also learned along the way is, you've had a fair bit, haven't you? Can I get you to do this before we even get started? Here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to turn to the person you're sitting alongside. If you don't like that person, turn to the other person. If there's no one talking to you, there's a message in that already. Find friends. Okay. Find friends and bring them here. That's probably what it should be there. Here's what I'd like you to do. I want you to share with the person you're sitting alongside what's been the one message from this event that's either hit you in the head or hit you in the heart. What's been that one message that you go, I'm going to hold on to this tight for when I go back to out of this room, out of this bubble, that I am going to hold on to that to move forward. I'm going to give you just 10 seconds each. We find the person, look them in the eye, not lovingly unless you're, but anyway. And here's what I'd like you to do. Tell them what the message is, not both at the same time. Do that for me now, and I'll play a little bit of music for you. So my role this afternoon is one very, very simple role. I want to take the information you've got and put it into a plan, create a goal, so you have a dream to pursue. And as we go through, I'm going to get you to explore the possibilities. See, one of the other things I've learned as I've travelled around the world is that I believe you can either live your life or run your business either like a tourist or like an explorer. You know the difference between those two? Give me a hands up. How many people in this room here love to travel? Oh yeah, me too. I love getting on a plane. I love going to places. When I travel, I never ever want to be a tourist. You know what I mean by that? I never want to follow someone with a flag. When I travel, I like to go and eat where the locals eat, drink where the locals drink, shop where the locals shop. Anybody relate to this so far? Am I a little crazy? I actually love going to foreign supermarkets. Who's like that? I love going to foreign supermarkets going, what is that? Why is it still alive? Wow, I love to do that. You know who was a great explorer? Oh, actually, in fact, let me ask you this question. You know what I really love to do when I travel? People watch. Yeah, you with me on that? I love sitting in a little cafe, having a drink, bite to eat, and go, I wonder where they're going. I wonder what they do for a living. Why is she with him? Oh, she could do so much. Oh, really? Seriously? So I want to explore the possibilities with you this afternoon. I'll tell you who was also a great explorer, Walt Disney. I know Lauren spoke about Walt and his dreams. And I love this quote from Walt Disney. All dreams can come true if you have the courage to pursue them. Tom Sampson from The Project, I've done a couple of conferences with him, and I love a quote he says, you don't have to be courageous all day. You just have to be courageous for 5 minutes longer. You just have to hold your resolve. When you go to send that email or text message, As Simon was talking about yesterday, you just have to hold your resolve. When you invite someone to see the business, you just have to hold your resolve. Give me, how many people in this room been to Disneyland? Yeah, fantastic place. When I first went to Disneyland, I bought a book titled Walt, the story of Walt Disney. And just to prove I actually was in Disneyland, photo of me and my two daughters there. I look cool in a teacup, don't I? You know what I found when I started reading the book? The reason why Disneyland came about, it wasn't because of a commercial reason. The reason why Disneyland came about is because Walt Disney also had two daughters. And every Saturday he used to take his daughters somewhere, up the Santa Monica Pier, down to a local county fair. And he was always disappointed that wherever he went, the place was run poorly. It was unclean, and it wasn't just a great place to bring families together. He said, there's got to be a better way for families to come together. And he went and bought 168 acres an hour outside of Los Angeles. Can you believe this is Disneyland a year before it was built? Full of almond trees and orange trees. Now, he had enough money to buy the land, but he didn't have enough money to build this. So, what do? You sort of, you start to go to the banks and you start to talk to people and you go, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to bulldoze the almond trees and the orange trees. I want to put a train around the outside. I want to put the magic castle over there. I want to put frontier land there. The Mississippi paddle steam is going to go there. Tomorrowland, Futureland. And then you have to drop the pitch. I need $15 million. 1950, $15 million, a lot of money. 1950, 15, today, it's still a lot of money. First bank says no. Second bank, no. Third bank, no. Fourth bank, no. Fifth bank, no. Sixth bank, no. Seventh bank, no. 460 financiers all said no. How big's your dream? When do you give up? The one thing I've learned along the way is tenacity wins every race. Now, by the way, I'm not beating up on banks. Why would you invest in this? Let's get this straight, Mr. Disney. You want to go an hour outside of Los Angeles. You want to bulldoze the almond trees and orange trees that already make you money. You want to build an amusement park that you hope people will come to. And your mascot is a 6-foot rodent. No. Bit like this guy here. You reckon he's fired up? You're going to build what the? Might look like some of your prospects. But the 460 first said yes. And they started construction. What could possibly go wrong? The day the bank gives you the money, you announce to the world that you will build an amusement park and have it open in 12 months' time. What could possibly go wrong? There was plumbing strikes. People wanted them to double the pay. But the show went on. And, of course, it opened on time. And on the opening day, they expected 8,000 people to come through the turnstiles. And 24,000 people turned up. 8,000 people jumped the back fence for free. It was a disaster. It was one of the hottest days in California history. They ran out of merchandise. They ran out of food. There was long, long lines and queues. But Walt's an optimist. He said, you know what? If 24,000 people turned up today, I wonder how many people are going to turn up tomorrow. 28,000 people turned up the second day. And old Walt thought, geez, I might be onto something. I love this quote from him. He said, first think, second believe, third dream, and finally dare. Our mantra this afternoon is this. I want you to first think about what is possible for you to achieve after this event. You have all the inspiration and information from people. What can you achieve? Second, you have to believe enough in yourself. You cannot outdream your self-esteem. If you don't believe you're worthy, deserving, capable enough, you won't do it. So you have to develop yourself with action. Finally, you have to dream. And you know what we do as adults? We get the dream kicked out of us. We get serious. We settle for less. and we stop thinking about what is possible for us and our families and the people that mean the world to us. And finally, dare enough to leave this event and take action. Take the first step. We don't want you to know the whole plan. You just need to know what you need to do next. And then next after that. And so what I want to spend the time with is to walk you through. Everybody should have a handout. It was in your green bag. There was some on the doors as you came in. You'll need that as we go through. That's what I'd like you to take some notes down in as we go through. So let's talk a little bit about where to for you. Here's what I've learned along the way is that with clarity in your life comes confidence. With clarity comes confidence. With confidence comes more consistency. Give me a hands up. How many people in this room are consistently inconsistent? Yeah. You start, you stop, you start, you stop. As long as you keep on starting, that's okay. As long as you don't give up. And then finally, what we talk about here is that we want you to be certain. But certainty only comes when you are focused. I've been married to my wife, Christine, for 26 years. We've known each other for 27 years. I have Christine as not only my life partner, but also my business partner for the last 22 years. So I've known her dad for 26 years. 26 years ago, my father-in-law started building a boat. Wooden boat, 36 foot. 3 or 4 times a year we go out on this beautiful boat. And here's my limited knowledge about boating. Is if I'm in a boat and I am 1 degree off course for 5 minutes, it's no big deal. I adjust the rudder, adjust the sail, and bring it back on course. If I'm in a boat and I am 1 degree off course for 30 days, I am lost at sea. How many people do you know in their life or in their business or in their career are lost at sea? All because they got confused with the horizon versus the destination. I want to make sure that you leave here this afternoon and you are clear on what the destination is for you. For you and the people who mean the world to you. To do that, you need to start to think a little bit about what it is that you really want. I talk a lot to people, and I've already had the conversation with a beautiful young couple here this morning when they walked up and they said, we don't know what our why is. That's okay. You're not supposed to. You know, we watch too many videos about finding your why. And what happens is people stop. But finding your why is a journey. So here's my tip for you. Keep on looking for your why. But make sure you've got a why for the next 30 days, the next 12 months. And in the process of going towards that destination, your why will find you. To do that, you need to be passionate, because nothing great happens until someone becomes passionate about something. What are you passionate about in your life? Here's what I do know. Your life is made up of 4 parts. There are things in your life that you like to do. There are things in your life that you have to do, love to do. There are things in your life that you have to do. And there's things in your life that you hate to do. Is that a fair summation? Can I give you a highly technical term? If your whole life is totally consumed by the things that you have to do and the things you hate to do, can I give you a highly technical term? Your life is crap. But I'm a realist. You're not always going to have things that you love to do and like to do. Unless you're one of the leaders in this business, because from the knowledge that I know of them, they're doing exactly what they were put on this planet to do. And you have that opportunity to do the same. In between times, we have to start thinking about what it is that's important. Passion fits into 2 parts. You either go and do the things that you love to do and earn an income from it, or you go and earn an income so you can go and do the things you love to do. You know what the tragedy of this slide is? Is that for most people, it's neither either. They exist, they endure, they don't enjoy. So the question I've got for you today is, what are you passionate about? What energizes, enthuses, engages you? What amplifies you, accelerates you, elevates you? Because you have to have something that you're passionate about. If it's the business, wonderful. If it's what the business will do for you and your family, fabulous. But you can't be in the middle. You have to have some sort of passion. For me, my passion is, I mentioned to you before, I'm passionate about my wife, Christine, and my two daughters, Majana and Bella. And I'm passionate about being a living example for them, not the talking example. I'm passionate about providing with a lifestyle that educates them to becoming better human beings, not necessarily better students. What are you passionate about? The second thing I'm passionate about is the work I do. This is not a job, it's not a career, it's a crusade. My goal is to help people set goals, because here's what I do know. If they can set a goal, they can achieve a goal. That's what I was put on this planet to do. The third thing I'm passionate about is travel, like most people in this room. And the fourth thing is I fell in love with photography about 7-8 years ago. I'm a keen photographer. And, how's the best way to describe my photography? Is I'm a pro-am photographer. What does that mean? A professional / amateur photographer. What does it really mean? I have all the gear, but no idea. Here's what I'd like you to write down on your handout. What are you passionate about? Can you write down one thing, two things, three things that you're passionate about? What are you passionate about in your life? What energizes, enthuses, engages you? I know for me it's about making a difference. But what are you passionate about? Take a moment, jot that down for me if you'd be so kind. I should have told you, we're going to do a little bit of work. Yeah, you can write down anywhere. I'm sort of going off script at this point of time. I'm just making it up as I go along. Thank you. One person having a big impact on the audience. What are you passionate about? For some of you, it is about being the living example. Anybody here got teenage kids in this room? Just put up your hand for a moment. Have a look around the room. People don't have their hands up. Look happier, don't they? I have two teenage girls, as you know. Majana's 21 at the end of the year. Bella's 18. And I just learned a long time ago that I can tell them. And it's not because they're disrespectful. They're the most two beautiful, confident, respectful young women. They have to be the living example. You can't ask them to be a great problem solver if you're not. You can't ask them to set goals if you don't. You can't ask them to have a great attitude if you haven't. And by the way, that's exactly the same message for your people. You can't expect your people to be what you... Look, I want you to do... I don't do this, but I want you to do this. It just doesn't work. Can you take a moment? Can you turn to the person? If you've had enough of that person already, just turn to the other person. And can you tell them what are you passionate about, as long as it's not too kinky. So just let's keep it clean today. I want you to keep just above board. So just take a moment, just 5 seconds each. Ready, steady, go. I do have to explain this with audiences, by the way. So take a moment, do that for me now if you'd be so kind. Let me put a little bit of music on. Passion sits at the centre of why. What sits around why are reasons, not excuses, but reasons. And so one of the things I often say to people is you have to start thinking about what makes your heart sing. What will you do? What energizes, enthuses, and engages you? So you go through the uncomfortable and the inconvenient. So when roadblocks are put in front of you, you have enough momentum, not motivation, to either go over it, to go around it, or to go through it, and to get to what you want. Now, to be able to do that, you need to know what you want. And so I want to go from macro to micro this afternoon. I want to talk about what the big picture is for you, and I want to talk about what you do the first hour tomorrow. Because it has to start tomorrow. It has to start tomorrow. Give me a hands up. How many people in this room were academically challenged going through school? Who's like that? Even if you weren't, you put up your hands. Thank you very much. I appreciate your support. I never learnt this until the last 15 years, when the why becomes clear, the how becomes easy. Your goal, my goal, your goal for your leaders is to start to find out what will drive you towards what you want. Your leaders love you. I know that. I've hung around them for the last couple of days. I got in here early. And they want to see you be successful. A lot of them now are focused on legacy, not just achievement. And so they want to help you move yourself to the next level. I was academically challenged going through school. In actual fact, I was hopeless at school. I got to the end of my year 10 and I thought, you know what, this is, I'm out of here. I only went to school to play sport. I went and got my first job. You ever remember your first job? My first real job was with Klaus, the 6'4" German bricklayer from Hamburg. Yeah? Klaus spoke very little English, but what Klaus would say every day is, yeah, more mud. Big, I'm telling you, massive man mountain, big barrel chest, huge guns on him, 6'4", peroxide blonde hair, flat top. And I'm a little guy, I'm a young guy, so I'd go over and I'd mix up a wheelbarrow full of cement and I'd bring it back to, yeah, more mud, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. Relentless. True German efficiency, right there. We'd sit down for morning tea. Klaus, being the true German conversationalist, would say nothing. He'd sit there staring out into the wilderness, thinking of his mother sauerkraut. I don't know what he was thinking about, didn't talk. But as soon as morning tea was over, he'd look at his watch and go, yeah, more mud. Backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. Took me 6 weeks to get to know Klaus. In my 6th week of working for Klaus, I found out that back in Germany, Klaus held the German record for laying the most amount of bricks in a day. Is this the guy I want to work for as a brickies labourer? You want to work for the slowest guy from Germany. You want to work for the slowest guy from Jamaica, tomorrow man, I've got to tell you, I went back to school. Repeated year 11, year 10, got through, halfway through year 12. My mum came to me one day and said, son, you and I got to have a talk. I said, what do you want to talk about? She said, I want to know why I've never seen you read a book. I want to know why I've never seen you do homework. I want to know why I haven't seen a report card in the last term. Well, that was easy. I burnt it. And then she asked me the question that most parents ask their kids, what do you want to do with your life? And my response, I don't know. Now, my mum, like your mum, like you, true problem solver, he said, I'm going to get you a job. My mum had a lot of push in the local council. It was graft and corruption at the highest level. She was a tea lady. For those young folk in the audience who've got no idea what I've just said, let me put it this way. She was the ancient day version of Facebook, a true social networker. She knew everybody. I've got to tell you, and why do I say it was graft and corruption? Because I never applied for the job. I never went for an interview. My mum just told me to get dressed and come to work with her. I thought it was bring a kid to work day. And I started work in water supply and sewage. And why I say it was graft and corruption, because I think the people that employed me got a couple of extra iced Vovos and a Tim Tam on a Friday. And then, so I started working in water supply and sewage. I've got to tell you, I was motivated to get out of sewage. Worked my way up to the prestigious position of noxious weed inspector. You might ask what a noxious weed inspector does on the Gold Coast, and as a council employee, I used to get in my council issue 4-wheel drive, canary yellow, short wheelbase Toyota Land Cruiser, and I used to travel at 100 kilometres down the Gold Coast highway looking for noxious weeds. Used to pull up at a place called Pannett's Bakery. I used to have a cream bun, a meat pie, a litre of Coke, read the paper for an hour. I believe in a balanced life, an hour on and an hour off. I used to go up in the hinterland where there was no noxious weeds and shady trees. I used to sleep a couple of hours every day. My boss came to me one day, a guy called Len Anderson. He was the chief health inspector. And he said, Keith, we want you to go on a week-long leadership program. And I thought, he's got rocks in his head. I'm sleeping a couple of hours every day. I'm eating cream buns like it's going out of fashion. The weeds are running rampant in my area. And then he said the magic words, you get a week off work with full pay. And I thought, gee whiz, maybe I am a leader. Maybe I'm a leader, I don't know it. Maybe I never got the memo, I don't know. He was involved in Rotary, and every year Rotary run this program called RYLA, Rotary Youth Leadership Award. I was 23 and a half years of age. I went out in the middle of nowhere with about 60 other participants, and for a whole week they brought in speakers to talk to us about managing our money, living away from home, leading people, following people, being problem solvers. And the last day a guy stood up and he said, here's what we'd like you to do. We'd like you to go and find a shady tree and take this clipboard. I thought, I've got this mastered. I can do this. He said, we want you to write down 100 things you want to achieve in your life. I thought, how hard can that be? I'm 23 and a half years of age. I've got the rest of my life ahead of me. I've had a whole week of telling me I can be anything, do anything, have anything, and achieve anything. How difficult could this be? I sat under a tree. So confident was I that I'd actually pre-numbered my pages 1 to 100. They rang a little bell, gave us 90 minutes to create our life to-do list. I started writing out my life to-do list. I got to 6. Longest 90 minutes of my life. I thought, geez, life's going to be short. The 7th thing I wrote down was finish this list. Took me 6 weeks to get to 100. I'm on my 8th list. When Celine introduced me and said that I help people set more than 14 million goals, this is what I do. For the last 22 years and more than 33 years, I've been helping people write down their list of 100. Because here's what I do know. About 15 years ago, I created a research project. And I said to people, write down a list of 100 goals and send it to me. 1,500 people sent me their list of 100. I held on to it for 3 years. See, I know what I had achieved. And I wonder what other people could achieve. Was I normal? Was I below normal? Was I above normal? I was curious. And here's what I can tell you. We got all these lists. 1,500 people sent us their list. We sent it back 3 years later with one question. Just tell us how many you have achieved. And here's what the average was. Let me ask you this question. Do you think your life might change? Do you reckon your life, if I can get you to 100, and I can, do you think as you achieve one goal, a door opens up over here that was never there before? An opportunity presents itself that was never there before. And you become better because you're moving towards what you want and moving away from what you don't want. Now see, you might be sitting there, I don't know if I can get to 100. I'll tell you how powerful this is. If you left it with me for a little longer, 5 years, it's close to 70. What type of person will you become if you have this much success and achievement and confidence in your life? Now, I've got to tell you, I can get anybody to 100. I don't say that arrogantly. I just have a process. I have a system. It's like every business that I work in around the world. It's like your organisations. To some of the things that your leaders are creating, they're creating a system that says, this is how you build Juice Plus. I just worked it out that if I want to get you to 100, all I've got to do is I've got to ask you 25 questions. I've got to ask you 25 questions and get you to do that 4 times. 4 answers, and that will get you to 100. However, I'm a realist with this. I know there'll be some questions in your handout that you'll write nothing down in. And there'll be other questions in your hand that you'll write down 10 things. Give me a hands up. Do you reckon you can think of 10 countries you'd want to visit? Yeah. And so here's what we're going to do. Even if you haven't got a handout, we're going to start it now. Because I'm all about implementation, not intention. Everybody's got beautiful intentions, but intentions don't get it done. So here's what I'm going to get you to do. In your workbook, page 3. By the way, I'm not going through every question. Relax. Question number 3 in your handout is, could you think of one place in the world you'd love to live for an extended period of time? Give me a hands up. How many people here have been to Italy? Super. How many people have been to Positano? Oh, beautiful. Fell in love with Positano. I said to Christine and the girls, I said, I could live here for 6 weeks. I could live here for 6 weeks and I could walk up this hill and I could have this little organic cafe off here and I could stay there 6 weeks. I could write another book. A little bit like Mark. I can speak fluent Italian. Pizza, pasta, Peroni. Gelato, hot day. I could do that, Mark. I'd get by. Here's this. No, you know what? It doesn't have to be a foreign country. Could be up the coast, down the coast, inland, off-grid. Here's the next one. Could you think of 4 financial milestones you'd love to achieve in your lifetime? Own your home. Maybe help your parents retire. Send your kids to a better school. Could you think of 4 financial milestones? A dollar amount in your bank account. Oh, give me a hands up. Who here'd love to go and see the Northern Lights? Oh, yeah. Could you think of 4 natural wonders of the world that you'd love to see? 4 ancient wonders of the world. 4 man-made wonders of the world that you'd love to see, love to achieve. Could you think of 4 things you'd love to learn in your lifetime? Maybe it's a musical instrument. Maybe it's a language. Maybe it's a tango. Maybe it's to learn this business. To be masterful. Can you think of 4 things that you'd love to learn? Can you think of 4 things you'd love to do for your family? Not to your family, for your family. Maybe it's to take them to Disneyland. I had some grandparents in a room with me recently, and I was chatting with them, and they said, look, one of our family goals is to take our grandkids camping without Wi-Fi. Wow. Brave. Could you think of something you'd like to do just once? So I'm a keen golfer, not a great golfer, I'm a keen golfer. I'd love to go and play Pebble Beach. Haven't done that, played St Andrews. I tell you what I'd like to do just once. I'd like to go and see Australia play England in a test match at Lord's. I'd like to go and do that. By the way, that goal is one of my final 4 on my original list of 100. Still haven't done it yet. I spoke to 1,000 people 3 weekends ago in Newcastle, and at that event there, by the way, I never shared that goal with anybody before. My wife knows it and all that sort of stuff, but I never shared it from stage. And so I'm signing some books, and this guy walks up to me, just stands over here. I'm thinking, he hasn't got a book in his hand. I wonder if he just wants me to have a chat or something like that. And the crowd dies over, and he walks over to me and says, he said, I'd like to give you my card. My best man at my wedding is the president of the MCC, which is the cricket ground or the cricket club that owns Lord's. I'll get you to that test. You have to start sharing your goals with people because you never know. You just never know what door's going to open up. What's something you like to do just once? Maybe it's to visit something just once, maybe to do something. Maybe it's the bungee jump, parachute, just once. Don't need to do it a second time, just once. Could you think of 4 things you'd love to do in Australia or in New Zealand? In your own country, could you think of 4 things? In America, think of 4 things that you haven't done yet that you'd like to do. Could you think of something you like to build or create? Maybe it's a veggie garden. It doesn't have to be grand, it doesn't have to be a house. Could you think of that? Could you think of 4 countries? This is easy. Could you think of 4 countries you'd like to visit? Maybe it's the Greek Isles. Maybe it's to go on a cruise. Maybe it's Peru, to go to Machu Picchu. Could you think of that? Oh, here we go. Could you think of 1 sporting event you'd like to go and see live? Just 1. Or just 4. I'd love to see a Winter Olympics, seen a Summer Olympics, but never a Winter Olympics. If Adam Westwick's in the room, maybe it's to see Collingwood in a grand final at the MCG. 3 Collingwood supporters here, please. Could you think of a live concert, artist that you'd like to see in your lifetime? Could you tell me a city you'd like to live in for an extended period of time? About 5 years ago, I stayed in New York for about 2 weeks, did 2 conferences. So rather than coming home, I just lived like a New Yorker. It was a really fun experience. Didn't get abused too much or anything like that. And in between that time, I did a National Geographic photography retreat in New York. It was a fabulous experience, just seeing the city like a local. But maybe it's not New York. Maybe it's Paris. Maybe it's the spend a little bit of time in Saint-Germain. And there's a couple of great little restaurants and cafes just there around the chapel. Can you think of that? So here's what I'm going to get you to do. I'm going to give you one song. I actually don't want you to talk to anybody. Even if you're here with your life partner, your business partner, I actually want you to do it as an individual. And you'll get a chance to share with them later, I promise you. But I'm going to play one song, and I'd like you to start your list. Now, here's your first goal. You have to beat the noxious weed inspector. You have to get past 7. But in essence, I want you to get to at least 15, 20, 25. Why? So you got the job half done. And why 100, Keith? Why don't I just get to 25 and that's enough? No. Because when you get to 100, you start to dredge up the stuff that you've suppressed and pushed to one side and said to yourself, you're not worthy, deserving, and it's not possible for you. When you start to get the things that you really want to do, you start to believe in yourself that you are enough. That you are enough. So I'm going to put some music on. And if you haven't already started, get into it. Alrighty, righty-ro. Everyone get 2 more written down? Wow. And anybody, I know this is a shy, retiring audience, and I know that nobody likes to say too much, but I love it. I normally love to get a little bit of interaction with people, if that's okay. Anybody want to share with me one thing they'd love to do? Thank you very much. Love to be a pilot. Who'd like to learn how to fly? Wonderful. You guys could get group lessons on that. Yeah, good. Anybody else? Tell me something else, please. Thank you. Skiing in Japan. Who'd like to go skiing in Japan? Okay, well, hello, there's an incentive trip right there, really. Anybody else? Thank you very much, please. A weekend away just for you. Who'd like some solitude? Yeah. Just to go, retreat. It's a good word for it, isn't it? Retreat. I just need to go off grid and get away. Anybody else? Somebody else? Oh, okay. I'm gonna say here, and then I'm gonna go way back there, and you're gonna have to shout very loud so I can hear. Going to re-qualify for National Marketing Director. Fantastic, and thank you for being brave to. Yeah, absolutely. That deserves a round of applause. Absolutely, 100%. I like it. We're going to talk about specific goals in a moment, and it's important. I'm going to talk about a Juice Plus business goal for everybody. So I want to talk about that in a moment. Somebody had their hand up, way down the back. You're going to have to sing it out to me. That lady would love to go to space. Who'd like to go to space? Yeah, who just wants to stay here on Earth? It's enough. Yeah, okay, thank you. Just double checking. I got a good mate of mine. He's got the titanium ticket for Virgin Galactic in his wallet. He stumped up the 150K, down, done, ready to rock and go. Give me my spacesuit. That's what he wants. One more, please. Somebody else. I'm looking right in the middle here. Thank you. Yes, you. You want to feel respected. You want to feel confident. You want to feel relaxed. The money's handled. I'm on the right pathway. Give me a hands up. How many people here get frustrated when they don't feel like they're making progress? Yeah. This is about making progress. It's not about perfection. Give me a hands up. How many people here are perfectionists? Is my hand straight enough for you? Let me check. Is that okay? For the perfectionists in the room, it's not about perfection. It's about progress. Here's a quote you want to embed in your mind for the perfectionists in the room. A good plan started today is better than a perfect plan started tomorrow. Your goal is not to get it right. Your goal is to get it going. Then you can get it right. Stop waiting for everything to be perfect. Start where you stand. So here's what I'd like you to do. Of those 8 words up there, which one of those words resonates with you the most on how you want to feel this next 12 months about your Juice Plus business? How do you want to feel? Because until you work out how you want to feel, you'll never be able to truly set a goal that gives you that. We are emotional creatures. Does this make sense? Yes or yes? Yeah. I'm glad you agree. Turn to the person you're sitting alongside, tell them how you want to feel. Do that for me now if you'd be so kind. You got 5 seconds each. Ready, steady, goey. Okay. How do you want to feel? Alrighty. How do you want to feel? Anybody want to give me some feedback? Tell me how you want to feel. Thank you in the middle. Just listen up, listen up. This is good stuff. Thank you. You want to feel purposeful. So for those people who want to feel purposeful, this is about making sure that you are moving towards something you really want. It is bigger than you. It is outside of you. It'll live on after you. It's about legacy. Anybody else want to share one of the ones up there, please? You want to feel confident? Absolutely. Who here wants a little bit more confident in their life? Of course you do. What I do know, I don't have this as a slide, but you need a goal. You need to take action. From action, you get a result. From a result, you get belief. That's confidence. And it either spirals up or it spirals down. If you don't take action. You set a goal, but you don't take action. You get a poor result, and your belief is, I can't do this. It's too hard, too difficult. You find excuses, not reasons. Anybody else? How do you want to feel? Somebody else, somebody else, somebody else. Thank you, over there. Successful, thank you. However you want to feel, now here's what I want you to do in your workbook. I want you to start to think, okay, how do you want to feel? Write that in. Write that in page 6. Now, there are 4 key areas to set your goals in. I'm not going to cover all 4 today. Happy to chat with you after the event, whatever it might be. But your first is professional. That's your Juice Plus business. The second is personal. What do you want to achieve personally? That's about you. That's about your family. That's about your adventure, your travel. Some people in this room, your definition of adventure is hang gliding, parachuting. Other people's definition of adventure is sitting on a white sandy beach thinking, we'll have a pina colada or a margarita this afternoon. And you say, I'm going to live adventurously, bring them both over in a bucket. Some people's definition of adventure in this room is going to Spain and running with the bulls with somebody slower than you. Profitable is about the money. It's about how much money you want to keep, how much money you want to save, the purchases you want to make, the debts you want to get rid of, and the investments you want to make. And then physical, well, you're in this game. It's about your health. It's about strength of mind, strength of character, strength of body. I'm going to focus for the rest of this presentation on your Juice Plus business. I want you to write down for me. So now you know what the word is. I want you to write down for me, what do you need to achieve? For you to achieve successful or purpose, what's the one goal you want to achieve in your Juice Plus business in the next 12 months? So that when you come back into this room with more people, is that you have achieved that goal. I run into you. I'm fortunate enough to get invited back again. And you say, you know, Keith, I saw you 12 months ago. And I said, great, what's the year been like? It has been absolutely, unbelievably fantastic. And here would be my next question. What have you achieved? What's the one goal you want to achieve? Maybe it's to walk across stage as a national marketing director. Maybe it's to become a senior in this business, qualify at this business. Maybe it's to bring back more people. Maybe it's Club 12. Maybe it's Club 24. Maybe, I don't know, you know your business better than I do. Maybe it's Club 100. Maybe it's a little bit what that lady said over there before and she wants to re-qualify. You want to keep, you want to go to the next level. You want to bring people along. What is your goal going to be? Here's what I'd like you to do. Take a moment, write that down. Write down what's the number one goal in your business that you'd like to achieve in the next 12 months. You've got to leave this event. Tonight will be wonderful. You're going to have an absolutely fabulous time. It'll be a celebration. the Glennies, it's going to be absolutely fabulous. But you need to walk out of here this afternoon crystal clear about what the goal is, so that when you get on the plane and you get home, you don't have to think about it, you just have to start it. You just have to implement. What's that number one goal? And can I give you a pro tip with this? It has to be specific. It has to be so specific for you. Vague goals equal vague results. If you're going to write down, you're going to walk across this stage as an NMD, if you're going to walk across this stage, you're going to be recognised, is that how many people are in your group? How many clubs do you have? What are you striving towards? How much money are you making? How much money are you putting back into your family? You've got to articulate it. Can I just, I'll give you an example of this. I did some work on Wednesday before I flew in, and just a small group of people, these senior executives, and going around the room talking about these goals. And one of the guys said, "Oh, I want to be 90 kilos." I said, "That's a great goal, but that's not the goal." I said, no, I want to be 90 kilos, 95, no, I want to be 90. I said, that's a lovely goal, but that's not the goal. He said, yes, it is. I said, no, you need more detail. It has to be specific. He said, well, it's pretty specific. No, you want to be able to achieve that goal with ease and grace. So you want to be 90 kilos with ease and grace, healthy, fit, energized. So you can be 90 kilos, crook, sick. And I'll tell you the reason why you have to be really clear. In the back of your mind is a thing called a reticular activating system, RAS. I'll tell you how powerful this attraction is. Have you ever thought about buying a new car? And as soon as you made a decision what type of car you wanted to buy, that's the car you saw everywhere. That's the reticular activating system. You want to narrow your focus. You want to get in this corridor of focus, which will give you confidence, clarity. You don't want to have focus like this. You want to have focus like this. That's why you have to articulate it. You're going to have to work with your upline, and you're going to have to sit down with them and articulate what is it specifically you want to achieve. The next thing you want to do with that is you want to then say, if that's what I want, then how do you do it? What steps do you need to take? You need to start to think about what the action steps are. And in your handout on page 7, I just want you to do your Juice Plus goal now. You're going to have to counsel up. You're going to get some mentoring upline with this. Because your upline will know your business and know your business structure and know where the gaps are. But you need to start to say, what is it exactly that you need to achieve in this area? And can I give you some time frames? What are you going to do the first hour? So we'll give you a break this afternoon. Let you get dressed and ready for a party this evening, a celebration. But what do you do the first hour tomorrow? Who do you call? Who do you contact? Who do you need to reconnect with? What are you going to achieve in the first day? It is Sunday afternoon. Some of you will be still getting home. But what will you achieve? Will you finished your list of 100? Will you articulated your other goals? What will you specifically have done in the first day? What will you have achieved in the first week? It's now Saturday next week, the end of financial year, 30th of June. What will you have achieved? Will you have implemented Simon's ideas of going away and sending a text, what was it, 3 by 5 by 5 by 5? Will you have done that? What will you have done to move yourself forward, to move to where you want and to move away from what you don't want? What will you have implemented as part of that process? And then what will you have achieved in a month's time? We have some new people with you. We have started them, got them going. Would you have reconnected with some customers? I love some of the comments this morning from the ladies on the panel about reconnecting with customers. You know what? I bet you there's some people that you've introduced to this business that dropped off the face of this earth. But I reckon if you reconnect with them, who knows? Are they a customer? Maybe they're ready. See, I think some people are ready today. Some people are ready next week. Some people are ready in a year's time. Some people may never, ever be ready. But it's not to say they don't want better health. What will you specifically do? Now, the reason I want you to articulate this is that so you can go to your upline and you can say, here is my goal. Here is what I think I need to do. Guide me, direct me, mentor me so I can go away and implement and start. I said to Peter before, my goal for this presentation is that when you walk out this door, you don't have to think about it, you just have to do it. Your leaders have a full heart for you. They have a full heart for the fully committed. They can help you get whatever you want to achieve. They can help you build a business bigger than them. But you have to come to the table with a goal. You have to come to the table with a dream. You have to give them something they can work with. Because once they know what that you want, then they can keep that goal and keep you focused on it moving forward. So I encourage you to do that as part of the process. I love this quote. For the last 22 years, this has been my business mantra. The speed of the business is the speed of its leaders. My business grows because I grow. I say this time and time again to groups. If you want to go there, you have to grow there. You have to go there mentally before you go there physically. You have to change here to achieve this. And to do that, you have to start to develop yourself. And there's a few ways to do that as part of the process. Here's the first way. You've got to start, watching videos and consuming information that'll lift you up, not tear you down. You have to start, more importantly, to start listening. What you really need to do is start listening to audio programs. Listen to podcasts. Listen to your upline. You have to read. Leaders are readers. If you want to develop yourself, you're going to have to read. As you know, I'm an author. A lot of people say to me, oh, Keith, I'm not a very good reader. And my response back to them, you're probably not very good at sex either. It doesn't stop you having a go. People say some dumb things. However, there's probably a few speed readers in the room. Or you know one. And the final one there, and isn't it beautiful, in this business, you automatically have built in mentors called your upline. See, in the corporate world that I do most of my work in, the upline is your boss, but the boss wants to help you, but they don't want to help you too much because you might get better than them. That could be dangerous. But you've got these wonderful people who you can connect with and they can help you take you on a journey because they've walked the pathway before you. They're not talking about theory, they've walked the pathway before you. And they've helped you do that. I love this quote. It was given to me a long, long time ago. People ask me the question, so how do you go from a noxious weed inspector to a leadership camp to here? Let me tell you, read a lot, been to a lot of seminars, invested a lot of time, energy, and money in myself. I still work on myself today. I have 3 mentors that I work with. I have a mentor around my financial life. I have a mentor around my business life. And I have a mentor around my stagecraft. Because I know I need to be better. So you can either be in survival mode, you can be successful, or you can be significant. You choose. But the enemy, what does that really mean? People just get by. People are good. People are great. What's the enemy of greatness? Is that you're good at what you do. You're not great at what you do. You've got to invest some time. You've got to invest some money in yourself and that part of that process. Let me help you on the journey moving forward. If you'd like to stay inspired, here's a couple of things I'd like you to do. You should have a little handout, a little product order form that's on your seat. If you haven't got it, you're sitting on it. Might be a little crumpled up or anything like that. It looks a little bit like this. I did bring along some products, and I want to thank the people that have not seen me speak and yet have turned up and already bought books and audios and things like that. I appreciate your confidence and your faith in me. So it looks a little bit like this. I want you to grab that. Let me just give you a couple of quick overviews before I wrap things up here. Two books I brought with me, Be and Focus. Let me give you a quick overview of Be. Be is for people who have not set goals before. I originally wrote this book for kids. I think it's a great tragedy in Australia, and I'm not sure about New Zealand. I'm definitely not sure about the US, but it's a great tragedy. We don't teach our kids basic financial management, and we don't teach them about setting goals. Not this process. And so I wrote that book. If you have not set goals before, this is a 2-hour read with all the activities in it. Great book to start off with. The second one is Focus, which follows on. And if B is about goal setting, if B is about goal setting, Focus is about goal achievement. It's about finding your purpose, creating a plan, identifying your priorities so you can become proactive, not a procrastinator. I also understand there's some people in this room here that would prefer to listen rather than read. Just for the people in the room here who do buy, how many people in this room buy books and just put them on the shelf, honestly? Yeah. This is, I put together audiobooks. It's me reading the book to you. It's like a bedtime story. I also put together one of my very first books I put together called Living Your Passion, which has now been published in 12 different languages and big in Russia. And so that's on a USB, which means for those people who are busy running around, chasing people around, doing a whole lot of stuff in their life, it's a good way to listen to it as you go. Third product is for the leaders in the room who want to grow a business or are growing a business. I put together 24 videos. It's 24 videos with a 40-page manual, a user guide, so you can start to educate yourself, be the living example, and then teach and educate your people to set goals. Every new person that comes to your business needs to have a goal, and so we've put that together as well. That's $100. The whole, look, you can buy a book if you want to. In actual fact, here's my offer to you today. You can. I'm going to show you very shortly. You can spend no money. You can spend $25, $30, $50, $75, $100, or $200. That's it. So I put together the whole package for $200. But let me give you a bonus. And by the way, I've never done this before, but in consultation with Adam and Kira, they said, what else can you do just for Juice Plus? And I said, here's a couple of things here. If you buy the toolbox, everything, the $200, I'm going to do a specific Goal Driver webcast. There is a 9-part formula I haven't had the time to share with you. I'm going to go through that. Here's the other thing I'm going to do for you as well. You're going to get a year of Q&A with me. Take this the right way. How do I say this in the most humble way? There is not a question you can ask me about goal setting that I cannot answer. I don't say that arrogantly. I've been a student for 32 years. I've spoken more than 1.5 million people. I've spoken at the back of the room with a whole stack of people that said, I've struggled with this, or I do that, or I'm not motivated. I've got an answer for you. And so if you want to access me, there's only 100. Because I've never done this before, I got other stuff to do as well. So if you'd like this, 6 o'clock's the deadline. Just got to fill in the form. If you've got the form in front of you, fill in the form, circle the product that you want, give it to Christine and Majana out there. If you want me to sign the book, happy to do that. They're worth more on eBay later. If you don't want to spend any money, I get that. If I still haven't convinced you, I get that. So let me give you a couple of things here to help you move yourself forward. There is also a card on your seat. If you do not have a card that looks like this, then just take one from a blank chair around the place. If you'd like me to stay in touch with you, I'm happy to do that. But rather than just stay in touch with you without purpose, here's what I will send to you. I do a blog once a week. That blog is about inspiration, information, and it's about helping you to achieve what you really want to achieve. There's also a free audio that comes with that. There's also an ebook there, and there's some worksheets to help you on your journey. if you don't even want to do that, you can just visit my website and download stuff for absolutely free. That's the gift to you today. With the card, fill it in before you leave the room, because there are people, if you hand it down to the end of the aisle, somebody will collect it from you. We can just leave it on the seat at the end of the aisle and we'll pick it up from there. Let me wrap things up. Here's what I do know. Give me a hands up. How many people in this room are procrastinators? Whoa, I hope I don't catch it. Normally when I ask that question, people put their hand up like this. Can I get back to you on that? Here's what I do know. Procrastination is the greatest robber of self-esteem, of confidence. What's the greatest enhancer? Self-discipline. If you want to achieve what you want to achieve, sorry, I did flick that slide a little bit quick then. I said this to Ange yesterday. She said, Keith, I don't procrastinate, but I know people who do. And one of the things I said to her, if you want to really know the secret of beating procrastination, forget about finishing. Focus on starting. Forget about finishing, focus on starting. And let me give you a prime example of that. If you've been procrastinating about cleaning out your wardrobe, don't clean it out. Go to your sock drawer, open up your sock drawer, find one that doesn't have a friend and release it into the wild. You have started. When you leave here today, you need to starve your distractions and feed your focus. Why do I get you to write your goals out? Because that is your focus. If you don't leave here with a goal, any excuse will do. Too hot, too cold, too many, too few, too little, too much, too hard, too easy. Any excuse will do, and often does. So you need to think a little bit about what it is that you need to focus on moving forward. I love this slide. Action is procrastination's kryptonite. Progress is procrastination's arch rival. Now, I didn't do this because Supernova was next door. If there's some people that need to get in Juice Plus, there are some people down there. They just need to harness that for... don't go there, Keith. I don't understand. Passion is procrastination's demolisher, and more importantly, momentum is procrastination's enemy. If you want to beat procrastination forever, forget about finish. Focus your energy on taking that first step. And if you really want a pro tip, make it easy. Make it easy. Have you had a good afternoon? That's the correct answer. Let me wrap things up. I started with Walt Disney. I thought I should finish with Walt Disney. In the background of the Disney empire was Walt's brother Roy. I was fortunate enough to share the stage with Roy in Anaheim at a $1 million round table event with 7,500 people. And I got to see him present. And if Walt was the creative, Roy was the guy that managed the money, that took the vision and created a plan and implemented the plan and rallied the troops. He shared this beautiful story, and he said one of the interesting things is he got to spend a bit of time with Walt before he passed away. And he asked him the question on his deathbed. He said, "Do you have any regrets?" And to his surprise, Walt said, "Yes, I do." He said, "What could you regret? You built an amusement park that millions of people come to every year. Books that millions of kids and adults read, stories that have been created, characters, a mouse that won an Oscar. What could you possibly regret?" And he said, "Simple, I just didn't dream big enough." How big's your dream? You see, here's what I do know, is that you need to dream big dreams. You need to explore the possibilities, and you need to pursue your passion. See, if it's not you, then who? And if it's not now, then when? If it's not you that does it for you, who's going to do it for you? And if now's not a good enough time, how many people like me do you have to listen to before you say, enough's enough? And that's enough from me. It's been a delight. Thank you very much. Blessings.